It was December 2004, and 9 divers were about to enter the Kalimba cenote for the second time while on vacation in Mexico. Their plan was to follow the guidelines to the Boschchen cenote before turning back. They split into 2 groups. The first would go ahead and set markers to highlight the correct path, while the second would follow. Since the first group had more efficient oxygen tanks, they planned to go farther before returning, while the second group would start heading back earlier. As Team 2 was expected to resurface first, they would remove a specific type of marker called cookies to signal their exit. Seeing that the cookies were gone, Team 1 would then remove their own markers on the way back, ensuring the cave remained clean for future divers. Everything went according to plan. Team 1, noticing the absence of the cookies, began their ascent, but when they resurfaced, Team 2 was nowhere to be found. They searched the area for 30 minutes but found no sign of them. Regrouping at the Kalimba cenote, they geared up to re-enter the tunnel and search for them. By this point, Team 2 had little oxygen left, but suddenly, bubbles appeared in the water, and 2 divers quickly resurfaced. They immediately began explaining what had happened underwater. Instead of following the intended exit path, Team 2 had mistakenly turned left. The return trip should have been short, but they only realized their mistake after swimming 1,400 feet in the wrong direction. By the time they noticed, they were nearly 3,000 feet from the original exit. However, another exit was just 300 feet away. Reaching it posed a serious challenge. They needed to cross a 70-foot gap with no guidelines, making it a dangerous risk of getting lost. Kent, one of the divers, took out his safety line, secured it, and began swimming across. He was just short of reaching the guideline when his line stopped him. It was too short to cover the long gap. Time was running out, and turning back, Kent saw the rest of the group heading toward the initial path, so he swam fast to catch up. By then, their oxygen levels were critically low, and with no air pockets in the cave, the situation was becoming life-threatening. After 25 minutes of swimming, they finally reached the correct line. A 30-minute swim still lay between them and the exit. Bill's oxygen was nearly gone, with only 200 psi left. He moved next to Jean, who had more air, and she shared hers using her emergency extra mouthpiece. The situation was so bad that in tight passages, Bill had to hold his breath while Jean squeezed through first. Then Michael also began running dangerously low on air. Seeing that Jean and Bill were already sharing and could not help him, he panicked. He was the least experienced of the group, and his tank was almost empty. Fortunately, Kent reached him in time, handed him his emergency mouthpiece, and tried to calm him down. Meanwhile, Jean and Bill made it out with just 500 psi left in Jean's tank. Had they been delayed just a few more minutes, they would have drowned. They immediately informed the others that Michael and Kent were behind them. Their lights had been visible just before they exited. The remaining divers quickly re-entered the tunnel, hoping to find them in time. Just 250 feet inside, they spotted Michael and Kent's lights. But something was wrong. They weren't moving. As they got closer, the truth became clear. Both had run out of oxygen and drowned, just 5 minutes from the exit.